Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another edition of the All We Do Is Talk podcast. Today we are talking tight ends. Very top heavy, but we should have some interesting ones at the bottom. Here with Moody and Isaiah. What's going on, guys?
What's good, y'all? How y'all doing? Let's get into this very shallow position. I mean, there's about 10 good ones. We're going to list them out for y'all.
Yeah.
Doing good, Eric. Appreciate it. Let's get into it.
Yes, sir. So who wants to go first?
I guess I'll go first. Honorable mention, Mr. Austin Hooper, big free agent signing for the Cleveland Browns that was decent, and then all of a sudden he just fell out of favor for the inconsistent David Njoku. So, I mean,
they've already paid another tight end. They've already let him go and paid another guy.
Yeah, so he slipped out in the night. He's playing for the Tennessee Titans this year. Should be a good replacement for that Jonnu Smith role that they were missing last year. So I'm interested to see how he does. But talented player. He has a baseline. He's not great, but he's not terrible either. Was a part of that infamous Super Bowl collapse with the Atlanta Falcons all those years ago. So Austin Hooper. At 10, I have the ageless wonder Zach Ertz, getting up there in age, but still productive. Fits that Cliff Kingsbury air raid system really well. Interesting to see how he does in year 2 with Kyler Murray, and without DeAndre Hopkins, he'll probably be the safety blanket for that offense. At number 9, I have the guy who replaced Zach Ertz in Philadelphia, Mr. Dallas Goddard. I think Dallas Goddard's reached that point where we're waiting for him to reach that other level, but I still think he's a solid player where he is right now. Good pass catching tight end, not as great run blocking, but plays with such a good run blocking offensive line that it's not very necessary. So he looked really good in the preseason this year. He'll be the safety blanket in Philadelphia, catching all those inaccurate Jalen Hurts passes. At number 8, I have a guy who compares pretty well to Dallas Goddard. I have Mike Gaseki for the Miami Dolphins. One of Tua's favorite weapons, another safety blanket guy, another guy who's a better pass catcher than run blocker, but a pretty elite pass catcher, has great hands, can be inconsistent, can disappear, but a lot of these tight ends do. It's the nature of the position, not giving you much run blocking, but still a great pass catcher. At number 7, I have another guy who's a great pass catcher, but not as good of a run blocker. He was a part of the Russell Wilson trade. Mr. Noah Fant headed over to Seattle to go and play with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, and that 32nd ranked quarterback play they will probably be playing with this year. Interesting to see. He has a connection with Drew Lock, so we'll see if he can put up numbers. And this will probably be the most talented set of receivers he's ever had around him. Doesn't give you much run blocking, but still one of the most electric tight ends. And at number 6, I have the last guy who is a good pass protector. Good pass catcher, not that much of a run blocker. Mr. Kyle Pitts, was he second for Rookie of the Year last year? Can easily be a top 3 tight end by the end of the season, just like the guys in front of him that have done it a little bit longer and that can do a little bit more. So still think Kyle Pitts is amazing, but I technically still believe he's a receiver. And that's what I got for 6 through 10. Zach Ertz, Dallas Goddard, Mike Gesicki, Noah Fant, Kyle Pitts. A lot of the guys who are mostly pass catchers that leave a lot to be desired run blocking.
I was honestly surprised you're that low on Kyle Pitts. I figured he'd be higher on your list, but I guess the top 5 guys are pretty solid. So I guess if you don't think Hopkins is in that category, then I guess I understand it. Fant gets to be 7 already. Like, he hasn't had the breakout yet. He's just the potential guy.
He's explosive. He can play. He was playing in preseason games while the starter Will Dissly wasn't. So I hope your boy Pete Carroll's not here to ruin Noah Fant for you, Isaiah. I'm just gonna hope and pray he doesn't do that. They don't know how to use move tight ends in Seattle, so we'll see.
Yeah, your list is all right. I don't think Austin Hooper needed the shout out of the Super Bowl. I don't think he needed all that smoke, but I don't know why you brought that up, but sheesh.
He's been around for a while. He's on his 3rd team now.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go next. For the honorable mention, my honorable mention is going to be Zach Ertz. I think he'll probably end up in another tight end timeshare like he was with Dallas Goddard because they drafted the guy McBride in the 2nd round, and I expect him to be really involved. But Zach Ertz, still very productive guy, will probably fall into 50 catches and lots of first downs this year. Number 10, I got Hunter Henry in the New England Patriots. He helped carry Mac Jones into a way too high 85th spot on the top 100 list. A lot of that because of Hunter Henry's red zone work. He still has excellent hands, and he scores in the red zone consistently. He's not going to give you anything in the blocking game, but that's not what you're asking him to do. If he stayed healthy, he'd probably be an easy 8 to 10 touchdowns every year. That's because he's just that consistent of an athlete in the red zone. At number 9, I got Mike Gaseki. Pretty much, he's more of a receiver than tight end, really, but that's the position he plays because he's super tall. But you see the spectacular catches. His highlight plays are as good as anybody's on the list, but he could disappear for long periods of time. He struggles with drops. He's not complete in any way, shape, or form, but he has enough flash plays that he's automatically gets to put into the top 10 on this list. That's why he got franchise tagged. It's like his potential is still there to be had. At number 8, I got Dalton Schultz from the Dallas Cowboys, back-to-back 800-plus yard seasons. I think he'll be well over that again this year because he's the second best pass-catching weapon in the Dallas with Gallup on the injury bug. I think he's going to catch over 100 passes. He's just solid. He catches everything thrown his way. He can get open. He's mediocre in the run blocking game, which is a lot better than half the guys you can talk about on this list. And he'll be making lots of safety blanket plays for the rest of the season. At number 7, Dallas Goddard. He's like souped up Mike Gesicki. Like he's a better receiver, better yards after the catch, moving and stuff like that. He's just more consistent. Good player. Like Isaiah said, we're still waiting for him to make that jump into like top 3, top 2 tight end, which is what his potential has looked like. But he hasn't quite gotten there consistently, probably because of most of the quarterback play. And at number 6, I got J Hockinson from the Detroit Lions. He's almost as good. He's like right at the bottom of tier 1, top of tier 2 when it comes to the tight ends. Good run blocker, excellent pass receiver. He's going to be making more and more plays. And whenever the Detroit Lions get their dynamic quarterback, he'll become a much more explosive player and weapon in the NFL.
Jared Goff year 2? That's not. Damn.
Jared Goff isn't going to increase your ceiling as a pass catcher. That's all I'm going to say. He's not a ceiling increaser. But, yeah, there you go. Hunter Henry, Gesicki, Schultz, Goddard, and Hawkinson at number 6.
Yeah, I like it. All right, starting mine. Honorable mention, I have Pat Fermith. I think I'm continuing this theme of what I think is going to happen this year. So Pat Fermith, I think whatever quarterback plays there is going to be tight end dependent if it's Mitch Trubisky or Kenny Pickett as a rookie. So I think his numbers will be inflated some point there. So number 10, again, a quarterback who likes tight ends. I have Dallas Goddard at number 10. I think Jalen Hurts will be very tight end dependent this year. I know A.J. Brown will take some targets away, but I still think he'll be a good safety valve for Jalen Hurts. Number 9, I have Dawson Knox. I think him and Josh Allen have had a great chemistry throughout the years. He's made some big explosive plays for them throughout his time. So I'm surprised he wasn't on any of y'all's list unless he's made a jump that I haven't seen.
That's a good name. That's a good name.
I wouldn't worry about his name popping up again, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm surprised it wasn't at all for being Josh Allen's tight end. Number 8, I have Dalton Schultz. I think as Dak Prescott also with losing Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb's the one. So Dalton Schultz needs to take that step for Dak Prescott and the whole offense as a whole. Number 7, I have Mike Gesicki from Miami. I think he'll be more open just because of how explosive and how fast the two guys outside are going to be. So I think his one-on-one matchup, his targets are going to increase. And then number 6, I have J Hockinson. I think the names before TJ is like a tier, and then the next 2 are its own tier, and then the next 4 are its own tier. So I have TJ at 6. I think he's where you start breaking ahead of everyone.
Yeah, so he's the Kirk Cousins of tight ends, Eric.
Yeah,
that's what we're calling J Hockinson. No, it's a good spot for him. I think throughout our 6 through 10, we all had very similar names. We all had one random guy thrown in there with Isaiah's random Austin Hooper thing, Dawson Knox, and Hunter Henry all making random appearances.
I had fun. Noah Fant.
But most of the names were pretty consistent. I think these guys can all be interchangeable.
Yeah, which makes me believe that our top 6 is all consensus. So I guess I'll round it out here. At 5, I've got the most underrated tight end in the league, Mr. J Hockinson. I believe he is a tier 1 tight end. I think
one
he's
spot ahead of where we had him.
I believe he is the best. He's the second best run blocker, and he's top 5 pass catcher. So he's the second most complete tight end in the league. I think him in that offense with Detroit, he is going to be electric this year, catching the ball and doing double teams with Panay Sewell and Taylor Decker. I think he'll be the straw that stirs that drink in Detroit. He's the best player on their team, in my opinion. Number 4, I've got Mark Andrews, Lamar Jackson safety blanket. I just think he's not as talented as the 3 guy on high level talent, but he's just as productive, just as efficient, just as good. You really are splitting hairs here. When you get into this top 6, I'll take any of these guys. At number 3, I've got Darren Waller, who I've heard is apparently the most explosive, most impressive athlete that anybody in the Raiders organization has ever seen. That is how they lollyhoove this man. He overcame his problems when that cost him his spot in Baltimore, but he's gone to Oakland / Las Vegas and revived his career. Injuries are a problem with him, though. He is hurt often. And number 2, I'm going with Travis Kelsey, Patrick Mahomes, safety blanket. Probably the best run after catch tight end I've ever seen in my life. Probably the most explosive tight end I've ever seen in my life till Kyle Pitts showed up. So Travis Kelsey, I mean, future Hall of Famer. I think he's the only guy on this list that's bound to be in the Hall of Fame for sure. We all know of today. So just nothing left to do except finish it out. And he was great with Alex Smith as he was with Patrick Mahomes. And at number 1, I've got the most well-rounded tight end in the league. I'm going with George Kittle, the best run blocker. I think just as good of a pass catcher as Travis Kelsey, and just as good as run after catch probably. So, I mean, it's a nice crop, but that's how I've got them for my top 5. I've got Hawkinson, Andrews, Waller, Kelsey, Kittle, and I all think it's pretty close if I'm being real.
Yeah, the top 5 names, I think we're going to have one different name because you got Hawkinson in there at 5. We had him at 6. But we know who the guys are. We know who the dudes are at tight end. These guys are all pretty close. I'll just go ahead through mine. At 5, I got Darren Waller. The injury issues are the only reason he's this low. He just can't seem to stay on the field consistently enough to put together those consistent production seasons like these other guys have. But he's really good as far as like he's massive and he can move as well as anybody on the list. It's just really good. Just got to stay on the field. At number 4, I got George Kittle. His production's been down the last couple of years, probably more because of Jimmy Garoppolo than his own talent. Yeah, and his own injuries. But again, when you're splitting hairs amongst these top guys, being on the field matters a lot. And he just hasn't been as consistently as these guys. But easily the best blocker on the list. He takes great pride in it. He's almost like a 6th offensive lineman for the 49ers out there. And you've seen when they put the ball in his hands, when they make an effort to feature him, he's outstanding. He'll make plays on everybody, and they just need to do it more often, honestly. Hopefully Trey Lance can provide that big play element for him. At number 3, I got Kyle Pitts, already over 1,000 yards as a rookie. It probably won't show in production this year because of the poor quarterback play he's probably going to have to deal with. But as far as talent goes, I think he's second to none, and I think he'll probably be number 1 or 2 in it for the next 5 to 10 years, trading places with whoever you want to trade places with. But he's just really good. He's going to play the receiver position. He can play in the slot, tight end, do whatever you want with him. He's the franchise cornerstone of that team. They're going with the twin towers between him and Drake London, and I think Kyle Pitts is definitely going to get in the end zone more than one time, you would think. At number 2, I got Mark Andrews. He was basically single-handedly carrying the Ravens passing offense last year. Lamar just closed his eyes and threw it to Mark Andrews and hoped he made a play. And a lot of the time he came down with it. He's a good enough run blocker. He's asked to do it a lot in that offense, so he takes good enough pride in it. But as a pass catcher, as someone who he makes all the plays for Lamar that he needs to in the clutch. In the fourth quarter, you know where he's going. They put the ball in his hands consistently. You're not really afraid of anybody else, but he continues to produce. I think that's a big time. Mark Andrews at number 2. And number 1, Travis Kelsey has been a mainstay on my fantasy team for the last 5 years. I got to give the man his respect. He will probably go down as the greatest tight end ever when it's all said and done, just because the production is going to be so outrageous. But
not over Gronk.
He's still going. He's still going. He's already going to. He's the first tight end to lead the league in receiving. He's going to be 100 catches, 1,000 plus yards every year until he is either crapped out or Patrick Mahomes gets hurt. Those are the only things stopping Travis Kelsey from being the most productive tight end in football. I think he's the clear top number one.
Yeah, I think we all have the same top 6. So I'm just going to breeze through mine since we have covered these guys. I have 5 is Kyle Pitts. I just think his quarterback play will be too poor to break through these next guys, which all have a common theme of at least average play for my number 1, but everyone else has great quarterback play. Number 4, I have Darren Waller, my keeper in my fantasy league. Please stay healthy this year. I beg you. Let's go win the chip. 3, I have Mark Andrews. I just think he's not his overall package as Kittle, but I think he's perfect for Lamar. I think you need a run blocking tight end there for their style of offense. And he's also a threat. Number 2, I have Kelsey with Patrick Mahomes. And now I'm interested to see how his coverage is going to be without Tyreek Hill. It's going to be interesting to see if they corner him more in their offense instead of having to worry about Tyreek Hill on the outside. So for that leaves my number 1 is George Kittle. I just think he's perfect for that Kyle Shanahan system and the overall tight end that he is. Coming from Iowa, where you have a vicious offensive line, I mean, definitely rubbed off on him when he came into the league.
All right. Some breakout guys. I'm going to bring up a guy that's already been stated. I've got Pat Freiermuth. I think he easily takes that Zach Ertz spot. And if Gaseki, Goddard, and Fant turn to just guys who are all about potential, he probably could jump them too. And he's a Pittsburgh guy. He's a Pittsburgh tight end. Yeah, nothing much more to say about that.
Yeah,
and
I don't make no secret. Yeah, Pat Freiermuth is awesome. He's probably the best option for the breakout tight end of anybody. He's just Pittsburgh, they can sit tight and they can take the guys who they want, even though they tell the whole league who they're taking. Just another guy, Pittsburgh guy gets to stay in Pittsburgh. I expect him to be super productive.
And my rookie.
Well, so my breakout's a little different because Pat Fermith was on my honorable mention because I'm projecting for next year on my rankings. I had Cole Kmet. I really couldn't figure something else out. So Justin Fields, Cole Kmet.
He's been good in camp.
So
he's got to throw the ball to somebody.
Notre Dame boy. That's really the thing that got him over. But go on, rookie.
I've got Daniel Bellager for the New York Giants. He's running with the ones. Everybody says he looks like a steal. He has a nice physical presence. He can run block and he can catch. Was underutilized in college, but this is the NFL where the best tight ends are always from the unknown. That's usually where you find tight ends.
Pretty much all tight ends in college are underutilized.
Yeah.
My best rookie is going to be Trey McBride for the Arizona Cardinals, especially with DeAndre Hopkins being out for the first 6 weeks. They're going to need another pass catching weapon. He can play that move tight end role and go in and out with Zach Ertz. I think he's going to be in position to get a lot of catches in that spread system, air raid system. He's just perfect fit for that role. Dynamic young player. I expect him to be the most productive tight end in the NFL this year.
Yeah, I went with what Moody went with, Trey McBride. I think, because notice how Zach Ertz wasn't even on my honorable mentions or my top 10. So I think just because of injury and just age, I think he'll get playing time in that pass-happy offense.
Cool. Well, that rounds it up. Anything else to say?
No, that's it. Have a good one.
Yeah, remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, interact. Spread it out. Spread the word. It's list week. And we'll be back.